Hey, namaskar everyone, this is Saurabh back again with a brand new video. So in this video, we're gonna learn about loops in Golang. Loops are very simple and easy to use and quite powerful. We don't have any other loop programs in Golang instead of for loop, so it's quite boring but it's still very powerful. Again, before starting the main coding tutorial, I would like to suggest you should head over to this official documentation of Golang for better understanding and do some self-research on for loops. So let's go and start the coding part. So as usual, I'm just going to create a new folder, and here is a little bit of typo. Again, a typo. It's not a typo. I'm just trying to follow the old convention that I was following from the start of this series. So now let's drag and drop this current folder, recently created folder, in the storyboard of our VS Code. Now let's initialize our Golang project by running the following command init, and I would like to call this project as loop Golang. Fine. Okay, now you can see that a go.mod file is visible in our project directory, and at this level up the project directory we need to create main.go file. This is our entry file of our project. Then as usual we must need to import our main package main, and then need to make a function called main. This main function will be responsible for running all the other codes. So let's see how we can understand loops. So what is loop? To understand a loop, it is simple that it will just enumerate through a list or slice or something at a given number of time, okay, in a easy word. Let's see an example. We have a for loop for 3, okay, for loop, and should be a range, not this range. So this for loop will run run 3 times, okay, that's the range means. And let's see, print something three times, okay, print ln I am running. So if you run this code, go run main, so you can see that it's running 3 times. So it is the loop. It runs through 3 times the same program inside this block. So this is for loop, a simple way to understand what is loop. So it is actually rerunning the same thing at some extent of time. So if you remove this, then what will happen? As you can see, it's not giving us any typing error, so it means that it is a valid code. But what does it do? So if you test it out, you'll see that it's resulting in an infinite loop. So it can crash your PC or computer or machine or server. So obviously there are some use cases for this, but we'll see it later on when we will learn WebSockets. Now let's say that the for loop should stop only after printing it on time. So let's make it a break. So it will, once it will execute this first line of code, it will break the loop, okay. So this is the meaning of this break. So this break will stop the for loop from being a continuous infinite loop in a easy term. Fine. So you understand what is infinite loop and what is the use cases of break and how we can run to a expected number of loops in Golang. Now let's go and go for another way. So let's create a counter. Counter is going to be a will contain a default value of 0. So now let's create a for loop. When this for loop will run fmt dot println the value is counter. That's good, and it will break. Fine. Now if you run it, it will just show the first value and break it. But let's go and add something really interesting. For example, the first time counter plus, it will be a good thing, but let's make it easy, plus on. Fine. So it actually means the first time if it will run, it will update the counter variable with the value of counter and increment with on. So it will be 1 first time. So I can say it's on. So if you remove this break, why it's just stopped after printing it on time? Because we are using break to prevent this loop from being run for an infinite loop. So if you remove it, you will see that it's going for an infinite loop, and see how fast is Golang. Okay, and that's okay. But is there any way that whenever the count is going to reach at 100, then it will break the infinite loop? Yes, definitely we can make something like that. So we have a concept of if else statement. So if we'll obviously learn in depth about if else in upcoming videos, but for today you will learn a little bit of if else to execute it. If the counter is equal 100, then break the code. So if the counter is equal to 100, then break the code, otherwise run the code. This is it. So if you run it now, it will just go at 100 and break the infinite loop. So how it's incrementing the number? It's pretty simple. How? So first of all, it's trying to run this entire program first time. So while running it first time, the counter value is updating with number 1, incrementing gradually with increasing number 1. So it's on. So after that, as it's on and the counter value is on, so 1 is not equal to 100, so this break is not gonna work, and it's going to rerun it again. While rerunning it, the value previously it was set while running it the first time is 1 now, and now the value will be updated with 1 plus 1 is 2. That is how it will increase, and when the counter will be at counter's value will be 100, and this will match with this or this statement condition, then it will break that infinite loop. So this is one of the ways to create it, break it. But we have another way to make this directly inline solution for loop. So in this case, I would just like to comment it out and recreate this only using for loop without any if else and that individual counter kind of a thing. So first of all, for loop will be run, and this for loop will contain a counter variable, and the initial value will be 0. Then it will check if it will run at what extent of counter. So it will run until this counter value is less than equal to 100. It will run until the counter, this counter value increased or is less than 100 or equal to 100. Okay, and how we can increase it, increment this counter, just copy this counter variable and add plus plus. So this plus plus means actually this thing. So this is the code which has a very syntactic sugar, so we can achieve the same result using this. So now let's run it and copy this particular code here, uncomment it. Now if you run it again, you will see the same result. See? And it's much more faster and very nice to see. That's nice. So see, we were doing a lot of code where we can achieve the same thing here just by using some inbuilt features of for loop. So this is one of the ways to do it. Now let's learn more things. Let's say make sure that you are still under the block of main function, otherwise it won't work. Now let's go and create a slice. So how we can create a slice, we have learned it before. If you are not aware of how to create a slice or array, then you should head over to my other videos, which you can find in my description. Yeah, in description. So let's create a cars slice. So I'm gonna make a var cars and it's a string type slice. Okay, now we can initialize it with this. Fine, append cars and string. So now this is one of the ways to create a empty slice, and later on we can once we need it, when we need it, we can fill that that slice. So let's go for BMW and then Lambo. These are two cars for now. I would like to add in my slice. Now we can loop it. How? Just for make a for loop on it using what? We can we have a simple thing that is called range, and what we need to range? We need to range the cars. Fine. So now if this car is ranging, then it should return something, right? Because car has some values in it. But if you in our previous examples, we are using manual static values, but here cars is a slice. Always remember that if you are ranging through a slice or array, then this range will return two values, the first value will be the index of each items that that was inside the slice or array. So let's make a variable for index to store it, and then the value itself individual value itself for each loop will be also given to us, which we must need to accept. So let's say car name, it's a variable too, and this is the way how we are creating variable from beginning of our trace. Now let's see fmt dot println the car name is car name. So this is the car name, and the fmt dot println car id or index number is index. If you run it now, so it will rinse and loop through this slice, and the index, which is 0 for the BMW, will be here for the first time, and the BMW name element will be here. So this index will run show us the index of that particular car name, and it will run twice because it has 2 elements. So if you clear the terminal and run the main code, you will see that this the first one is the car name is BMW and the car index number is 0, which is 0 position BMW, and the first position is Lambo. Here you can see the result here. So that is how we can rinse through a slice. And if you make a array here, array, yes, it's an array, my bad, expected a value, sorry, it's not here, it need to be 3. Expected, but I must making some problems here, so let's make it simple. So now here you can see it's working because append is not working. Yeah, append does not work with arrays, so that was the problem. Fine, that is why it was not giving us the proper result. So now we have almost cleared everything in loops, but we have left something like if the car name, let's make another if else statement here. If the car name is equal BMW, then it will just make a fmt dot println, hey, you have a BMW. Otherwise it don't give us this thing. So we can simply remove it, and we have a continue keyword as well inside here, and this index is not required, that's why we can ignore it by adding this underscore. So now this continue will not break the code, but after running this if statement once the car name will match with BMW, then it will print it out and continue the loop. See, that's good. So that was loops in Golang. I hope you understand everything, And that was a pretty short video but quite informative. If this video give you value, then make sure to like, share and subscribe this video, and share this video with your friends. Thank you. Good night. Namaskar.